Hi everybody, this is Dark Artisan, and we're back with another video, and I finally got a break to get away from doing schoolwork to finally finish off the cluster. I worked on it this morning, showing off a few videos of the progress, and hadn't quite got it done by the time I was finished working and had to go actually do things in real life and not just doing stuff on working on mods. But I did work on it here, and I actually got it working now. So we can fire this off, and we get a nice, beautiful cluster here. Just like I said, we were going to get a nice kind of like shotgun pattern. Probably a couple of you misunderstood what I meant by that, thinking I was going to have a randomizer. What I really mean is that if I fire the cluster and actually do it, it'll give you a shape, a circle around the direction of where the cluster is aimed rather than actually getting some kind of randomized behavior. And it works really, really well. There's a few small tweaks I need to still do with it. As you can tell, there's a missile that spawns in the center that actually, and there's one missing from the side there. So that's something I need to actually end up increasing. Some of the changes that have been made, I have increased the number of missile flight types there are. So this was done to better manage the code. Previously, what we had was launcher-based, cruise, handheld. I added homing specifically for the homing missiles. This will actually later be used for different missile types. And dead aim, which is what we're actually going to be using for the actual clusters. I don't know if we actually said it. Yeah, we said the dead aim. So this will tell it that it's going to just set a direction for the missile, and you're never going to update that direction. So if wind pushes around or somebody gravity guns or whatever, it won't change direction. So that's been set up there. Another thing that's been set up is I went through and actually moved the customization code that actually tells it how much missiles to spawn to its own method, which that method actually pulls from a config. So now you guys can take with config files and adjust the actual missile spawn count. I got it limited to 30 at the moment because I'm not confident that this will spawn appropriately if you do too much on the size-wise. We can actually check this real quick. So you can open up the configs here. Not options, escape mod options, ICBM classic config. This will be under missiles, which is one of the blast ones. I haven't renamed it, and we'll set this to 30 and then hit done. And you can update this in real time because it'll actually change on your actual client game. And there we go, we got 30 missiles. Now this is going to lag spike as soon as that impacts, but it actually does work, so you can increase that, and that's pretty good. Now the reason I picked 30 is because you go a little bit beyond 30, they're going to start colliding with each other. They're not immune from colliding from one another, so there's a chance that when you're firing these that you could collide. I'm hoping eventually to update the GUIs for the launchers to allow users to customize how many missiles they actually do want to fire. There'll probably be some kind of recipe thing we'll do with that to modify that and offset that, because right now, well, I can't look at the recipes in here, but the recipe is normally just a few explosive missiles attached to a cluster. So there'll be an option to change how many missiles your cluster, and I will probably work on maybe doing patterns. Right now we got a circular pattern out of this. So when we fire, we get a circle pattern, but it'd be kind of cool to get other pattern types because you can clearly tell that you're not getting much impact on the center. So I'm definitely going to have to work on that. Maybe what I'll do is, as you increase the cluster size, it will create multiple circles, because that should be doable as we have a big radius in the center. So that's all working there, but it's pretty good, and this should work from a launcher too. So let's go down to a launcher and test this out as well, just to confirm that everything is set up. This will be pushed out in this Friday's release here, when we actually do get the next alpha build out. We're still doing only weekly builds, and eventually we'll get to a beta build once I get the recipes enabled. So this should be set up, so missile silo is empty, and I should just be able to place this in here, and we should be able to laser detonate it. That should come back down, and there we go. Nice spawn, nice good cluster on that. A little bit of a lag spike because that's a lot of missiles going off, and there's definitely some optimization that needs to be done there. And then we got a nice little circle donut shape, so yeah, I definitely got to work on that. I may add some randomization to cure that donut shape a little bit by having them randomly target, because how this does work when this is actually fired is it will predict a target position, and then it will spawn and aim the missile at that target, and it spawns it at a 30 radius around it. So what I ended up heavily could do is just add a small, like 1 or 2 block randomization to that, so that way the target position is just slightly off, so that way you don't get these little donut shapes in here. Another way is, of course, multiple rings, as I noted before, but of course these are really meant to be at 12 radius. Additional to this, one of the changes that was also made with that dead missile system is now that we have a way to actually aim the missiles from the missile flight code without actually having to manually set a lot of the stuff for dead aim type missiles. Let me go and open this up and show this off. So right here, this is the code that does the arcing right here, or rather this code right here, which I haven't updated to use a new math that we did in the previous video, so that still needs to be done. But that arcing code right there, it's pretty simple, really easy code to do. You just have to get the delta position and feed that into the shoot method. This uses very similar code to the arrow. It has been customized to fit more of my projectile types and is better documented than what you'll find with the Minecraft arrow code. But it works pretty simple. Normalize, add a random, add our multiplier. Our multipliers are basically our speed value. This is set to 2. I will expose this to the configs eventually when I confirm that this actually does work the way it's expected. Then sets the motion, and then it updates the rotation angles to match that motion vector. So this all works really, really well, and we can get good effects with this, and I'll probably expand on these effects in the future. And to end this video off, let's go ahead and test a nuclear cluster. And the nuclear cluster should in theory work, but I have not tested it before this video. And of course we are talking about a cluster nuke, so let's get up a little distance here. There we go. Got 4 missiles firing. Yeah, and you can definitely see with this one where it's missing the one, so I'm definitely going to have to work on how this actually clusters and behaves. And there we go. We got 4 nukes that went off in a small little radius there, and that looked pretty good. You got some of the mushroom blocks over here. These are going to indicate radiation at the moment. We don't actually have the radiation blocks implemented. They will eventually be implemented, but that's all I got for you guys, and I'll be back with another video here later.